Another day working on the buggy? Just kidding. I've got some samurai dilemmas and questions for you guys. Okay, so this is a 1988 Samurai. I just picked this up for parts and because it's a smoking deal. This is the 1987 Samurai where we've done a few videos on where Jake and I put this cage on it, and I've just recently converted this from a carb to propane, which was not necessarily the cheapest thing in the world, and but it was pretty easy, I guess, but it just wasn't that cheap. Basically, for the price of like 2 propane kits, plus or minus a little extra, I got this whole Samurai, this 1988 Samurai. It's got the same 1.3 engine, and it's already on propane. Yeah, the battery's cracked, and it's all a little crusty, and it's definitely beat. But check this out. That is Hydro Assist from Redneck Ram, half hydraulic steering right there. Pretty neat, and it's already got high seal arms, Toyota axles. These axles have 513 gears in it. It's on Toyota leaf springs, and let me show you the best part. Twin stick transfer case, as well as a SAM box. A SAM box is the Suzuki Samurai mini Atlas box that a lot of people run in these. It allows you to go 8-to-1 in the transfer case, plus the axle gearing. This thing is geared incredibly low, like you throw it in fourth and it will crawl in front of you at like a very slow walking distance. It's incredibly low geared. Anyways, let me show you under it. As you can see, back of the transfer case right there, replaced with that sandbox. That's kind of the whole gimmick behind it. Also kind of why I bought this one is because its driveline was the perfect crawler driveline for a Samurai. And besides that, there's some glaring issues, like, you know, whoever welded this trying to stiffen the rear end, or welded that end over there, which fell off. Or also these rock sliders welded to the body mounts, and they're just cut and then welded, which I guess, you know, more power to you since they've held, but it's just a little sketchy. And then if we come back to the rear cage, you can also see these are welded to the wheel wells. This interior cage is welded to the floor. And you know, it's just it's a bit sketch in some of the cage work and some of the design choices, but I'm not a hater. Some of my shit's sketch too, and obviously if this tube has been beat up this much and it's held, you know, I guess, you know, more power to you, it works. And then coming to that top cage design, that's how that looks. And again, you know, these have held. This has been rolled and flipped multiple times, and they've held. So I don't know what that says about roll cage design, but you know, I don't want to wheel in it like that. All right, so we've got the Samurai inside the shop, and I think what I'm gonna do, this is my game plan. I did throw around some ideas about doing a whole driveline swap in the buggy, but that's just too much work and such a waste of parts that are already custom fabricated. So we're not gonna do that. But what we are gonna do is fix the 88 Samurai. So I'm gonna spend some time real quick, tear out all this old wiring, tear out everything that doesn't need to be there, like the seats. And then once we have a nice blank slate, we can start working on the cage. It's gonna be a lot of work, so I'm gonna go ahead and start tearing things off, and I'll check back in when I get there. Okay, so the Suzuki is torn down. I went ahead and cut these back fenders off the bed. You can see where this is welded into the tailgate, which actually held up quite well. I'll show you the other side. Even this other side where it's like beat to death since the cage was, you know, all welded to it, this actually held up well. So props to that. This is our starting point. This video is gonna be the rear section only, and then the next video is gonna be the front section plus wiring. So that's the way I'm gonna schedule these out. Anyways, for the rear section, all we're gonna do is a nice simple cross pillar between the B and C pillar, and then we're gonna do some gussets down to the frame through the bed, tightening everything together. And we're also gonna add a gusset going from that rock slider to the frame, since, again, this rock slider is mounted to a body mount piece of steel and nothing else. And more power to you since this is held and has been mashed up into the body. I mean, it held, so I'm just gonna add the gusset just for a little more strength. Nice quick little angle gusset right to the frame, should be nice and easy. And then we're gonna add some crossbars between the passenger and driver side going this way to hold 2 propane tanks. So that's how I'm gonna beef up the rear end. It should be relatively simple. I'm gonna go ahead and knock one side out and let you guys see exactly what I'm doing, and then I'll show you how to do the other side. Okay, so here's how everything looks. I went ahead and kept this piece of angle right here just to make this piece of body just a little stronger. Welded a crossbar on one side. You can see how the weld kind of wraps on this plate all the way up to the tube. Then I welded 2 vertical pieces as well. So that's how this side looks. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side, and then something I forgot to mention, I'm gonna do an X coming down from the B pillar as well. I don't know if it's gonna be an angled X or straight down, but I'll figure that out. So those are the next 2 steps. I'm gonna get started on them, and we're cranking away on it. All right, so we're back and we're done. I went ahead and put a test coat of paint on that as well. You can see that bright gold. It looks bright, but once it gets dirty, it'll kind of dull out a little bit. And here's the final design. I know I initially said I was gonna put an X right at that B pillar, but I went for a V instead. When we redo that front part of the cage, I'm gonna go ahead and finish off that X. I just wanna make sure the seats are gonna fit. So that's blank for now, but I'm gonna go an X right there with the horizontal bar through the middle. So it'll still be an X, but you know, 2 V's. So that's the way that's gonna be. That's why it looks like that. You can see also these 2 are not perfectly parallel. This one slides down just a little bit out towards the rear, and that's just because the frame comes out a little bit, and that's the best way I think it's gonna look. From the outside, you can see they look straight, but from the inside, that one slides out a little bit. That's just because the frame on the back of the Samurais, it's not parallel. It comes out and it swings out, kind of bows out. So is what it is, but that's the rear cage. That's all the upgrades we're gonna do for now. I'm gonna leave the navy blue body, what's left of it. Obviously it's been beat up a little bit, but I'm gonna leave the navy blue body, paint the roll cage gold. It should be a nice pretty look. And yeah, I think that's about it. I think this was a good first progress video on the new Samurai. The old Samurai is gonna become like a Gator side-by-side utility vehicle, like put a seat spreader and stuff on that. So that's what the old, like, you know, a couple weeks old. The 87 Samurai, I should say, the one that's outside with the blue cage. That one's gonna be like a Gator, basically. This one's gonna be the toy. Like I said, I couldn't pass up the offer. So this is the first video. This is the rear cage design. Next section, we're gonna do the front cage design. And also probably wire it and do a test drive, I think. Feeling pretty frisky with these Samurais, so I'm pretty good at blowing through these and getting the work done. But yeah, that's it for this one, guys. Let me know how you think of the gold. I know some people like Bill thinks that the green, I have too much green paint, but it's just because I had a stockpile of it. So let me know what you think of the gold. I think it looks pretty cool. I think it should all come together nicely too in the next video. Should be a fun, quick little build session here. There I go again rambling. So I'll catch you guys next time.